Blasphemy TV. I'm your fabulous host, Brown B, and I'm sitting here with Wu-Tang's Raekwon. Yes, the legend. He is here. His album, Only Built for Cuban Links Part 2, will hit stores September 8th. So I'm here getting his business. You know how I do, people, all right? So, real quick, you can tell me a little bit about this album and how is it different from Cuban Links Part 1?
Well, number one, it's different because, whatever we did back in '95 with the first one, that was me, stepping into an arena fresh off the block from doing my little thing, selling drugs, doing my little dirt or whatever. But this album here, part two, is basically back to that formula, but now I'm a little bit more stronger and wiser at my decision making on making this album. It's definitely a drug dealer's anthem album. It's filled with a lot of horror on it. You know, um,
Alright. Why Part 2, first of all, and what took so damn long for you to get
um,
this started?
Part two is, that's the fans' call. They've been wanting this album for like the last 15 years of my career. When we made the first one back in '95, it's like that opened up the door for a lot of dudes to relate to that album, and you had a lot of dudes come behind me talking at the same kind of talk, but at the same token, a lot of people knew that who was the fathers of that style. So, a lot of people was like, yo, we need part two, because part one did so much for us that part two was requested. And, I took it as being flattering at first. I didn't take it like dudes were serious. I just looked at it like, okay, a few fans love that album. That's real. But it seemed like the world wanted that shit.
So,
You know what I mean?
hooking up with Dr. Dre, that didn't have anything to do with the delay of this album at all?
Like I said, overall, the main thing with the Dre situation was basically just to get him involved with the production side. He knew that I wasn't in the situation, and he was trying to come forth and help my new situation out. And being that he was mad busy, he couldn't really give me the proper time. The situation wasn't just panning out right. The paperwork was taking a long time because of this and that and this and that. So we always said to each other anyway before the door, it's like, yo, if it makes you feel uncomfortable what's going on, get away from it, because the friendship is more important to us. And that's how we kept it. I don't fault Dre. He came up on the record. He did his thing. He gave me some heat. I ain't mad. You know what I mean? It's still all love, no doubt.
Who's on this album? Just name a couple of people that's some of the other. I know you got some of the boys, some of the Wu-Tang members on this album. Just name some more people that's on this album that we wouldn't even know that were on here.
Well, I got my man Beanie Siegel on there. You know what I mean?
Really?
That's my brother right there.
Shout out to Philly.
He been definitely representing through the years, and he definitely hold a medal in the game. You know what I mean? As far as real niggas on that mic.
That's what's up.
I got my man Jada Kiss on there. That's my G right there. That's the young G. You know what I mean? He came and he did his thing on it. We got Life Jennings on the record that I feel is a good record. That's gonna have
I ain't hear
people.
from him in a while.
Yeah, Life is street nigga too. So he definitely gave me some pain on his track. And like I said, overall the clan is up there.
Of course.
I got my man Sugar Bang up there. He's a new artist that's coming out that has a remarkable voice. You know what I mean? And like I said, overall, me and the family, Ghost is up there. Ghost is up there nailing shit down with me. So we got a strong project right here.
Well, everyone around the world knows who you are. Everyone knows who Raekwon is. Everyone knows who Wu-Tang is. Of course, you guys are nationally known. Okay, so I guess I want to ask, is regional, as far as your big publicity and everybody knows who you guys are. What region around the world gives you the most love? Like what country, what state, what city would you say just reps the hardest for Wu-Tang?
I would say when we get across, definitely I'm going to always say here, because this is where it started, you know what I mean? It started from where we come from. But nowadays it's like, I think international countries, they more or less really go a little bit more with it now. They give us more respect too, because they feel like, see, one thing about out here is like we so fortunate and spoiled that what we can get right away. But these other countries, they don't have these opportunities to get cats coming through and being like, yo, get them a good show.
I.e. the Sierra Leone thing you did?
They appreciate that. Word, word. Shout out Sierra Leone. Word.
That's what's up. So now that you're in Philly and obviously repping Philly really hard, you see that Eagles t-shirt?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm just wearing a shirt because this is for Philly.
Alright.
I ain't really a big fan.
You just wearing it. That's fine. It's fine.
I'm keeping. Well, I ain't gonna lie. I'm keeping it.
That's what's up. But why? What do you plan on doing while you're here?
Well, you know, we out here working on the second half of my video with Beans.
Okay.
You know, like I said, I haven't been to Philly in a long time, so we just probably gonna chill. Yeah, you know that. You know, y'all get it in on the club.
I'm sure they told you about Onyx. You have to be coming through the Onyx.
You know,
look, we're going to Onyx.
Nah, you know, I just like the vibe, man. Like I said, we come through. You know, it reminds me of home. It reminds me of a legendary place in my life that I really respect, you know. And like I said, Philly and New York is like, we cousins, man. We cousins with the same story, the same struggles, the same problems in life. But at the end of the day, it's like when you think of the East Coast, it's like, we like the foot of the East Coast, you know what I mean? Like, shit you gotta stand on, like, you know what I mean? Just, you know, so I got a lot of respect for out here. A lot of Muslim brothers, you know, I took my Shahada, so all praises due to Allah. You know.
Well, you said something about a video. So, I'm assuming there's a single.
The video is going to be crazy, and we doing it out in Philly. I wanted to come out here. I wanted to come out here and give praises to my brothers out here this time with the album, with the record.
That's what's up. Well, there you have it. What's the name of the album? Tell the people.
Only built for Cuban links too. You heard this pretty sister right here. You know what time it is? September 8th.
September 8th.
My niggas on. Love is love. Wu-Tang forever.